Hey guys, welcome back. I know I said in my last video that I was going to try and be a little bit more consistent with my videos, and I haven't been. Business has just been nuts, so trying to get here to film has just been an absolute nightmare. So it's the day before Valentine's Day in Australia today, so I'm filming this and I will have it up tonight. So if you're in the States, you'll probably have a day to basically see this before Valentine's Day. In any case, this is the look that I've come up with. Now, one thing I did just want to say before I get into the makeup is, for any of you guys out there who don't have husbands, boyfriends or partners at the moment, what I want you to do on Valentine's Day is just concentrate on loving yourself more. Be kind to yourself. I find myself, I do this all the time. I say things to myself in my subconscious that, you know, you stupid bee, you stupid this. And we've really got to stop doing that. We've actually got to try and love ourselves a little bit more so we can love other people as well and welcome people into our lives. So love yourself more on Valentine's Day if you don't have someone giving you a Valentine. Alright, so let's get into this look. Okay, so first things first, I just want to show you what I'm using under my foundation now. My Murad Oil Control Mattifier has been discontinued. I have no idea why. It is the best at controlling oil under foundation for an oily T-zone. So I normally use my Tarte Clean Slate for pores, so I'm going to use this today, which is the Winky Lux Whipped Cream Primer. I've used it a couple of times. It is a little bit lighter than the Tarte, but I'm going to use that today, so I'm pushing that into the pores there. On the other side as well, and a little bit up in those 11th area there. Okay, so I started to use, I did a lot of sampling and testing for primers that control oil and shine, and this is the one that's come up on top of the list, besides my Murad, which has been discontinued. So I've used this a couple of times now, and I'm finding out of everything that I did test, this is probably the best. I wouldn't say it's as good as the Murad. Why do they do that? So I'm just going to put it everywhere, particularly down my T-zone here where I do get oily. It is summer at the moment in Australia, so we've got a lot of heat and humidity going on. So that's the Smashbox. It feels silicone-y, whereas the Murad was more like a moisturizer sort of feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows and my foundation and come back and we'll start the Valentine's Day eye look. Alrighty, so I've put my foundation on. I used my La Mer, my beloved. That's the ultimate foundation for me for my mature skin. And I've done my eyebrows as well. So I'm going in now with my P. Louise 01. Always use my P. Louise. It's the best base on a P. Louise brush. I'm just going to place that all over. Everywhere I'm going to be putting eyeshadow. And then just tapping that off as always with my NARS 42. Very, very soft blending brush. Alright, so I'm going to be using some tape today. I'm going to pop that way out west. Now I've got to put these quite horizontal. I can't go much more vertical than that with my hooded eyes. It's like when I do a winged liner on hooded eyes, you just get that jump because you've got that little bit of skin there getting in the way. So the more horizontal you can get, the better. So first up I'm going to go in with an angle brush. This is just a little MAC one on Season, which is the darkest colour in the palette, and I just want to lay down a line there, probably halfway between the corner of my eye and my eyebrow. And then I just want to follow that little bit of skin and then bring it downwards So in here I'm doing almost an eyeliner with it, and then bringing it up to that fold of skin there. And when I open my eyes, you can see that that's created that bit of a mess there, so I'm just going to go straight across here and fill that in, and then straight across here and fill that in. So you end up with that winged eyeliner look, but I mean, if we were going to wear a winged eyeliner, that's how it would look, so it doesn't work for a winged eyeliner. But for this look, I want that dark right near the lash line there. Okay, so that's what you should end up with. I've got a little bit up there in the crease, but don't worry, I'm going to put a different colour in the crease there. Just going to sharpen that up just a little bit more right into the inner corner. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with a Morphe 456, a tiny little blending brush, and I'm going to go into Delicate. And what I'm going to do is just blend right along the edge of Season. So just laying that down first up. And bringing that all the way down. It's gotten a little bit hot, so I've just turned my little desk fan on. Alright, so that's about it for that. Now I'm just going to take that Morphe brush and go right up into my crease. So my non-existent crease, because I've got hooded eyes, is up higher than the crease here. So almost in the socket area. I'm just going to place that about halfway. Alright, so I've ended up with something like that. And I'm going to go into blushing, and I want to continue that crease colour. I'm using a thinner brush just because I'm going right down into the inner corner. I don't want it to go absolutely everywhere. And I'm bringing that to about there, so not right down into the inner corner. Nice vibrant pink. Alright, so I've ended up with that. Don't panic. I'm going to get a Morphe 506 and I'm going to go into Blossom, which is a creamy colour. I just want to go right around the edge of that pink and just blend that slightly. So I'm bringing that right down at the inner corner to actually blend that edge there of the pink. So anything white or cream in colour, if you don't want to add another colour as such to your crease, is good for blending out. And don't forget, you normally got to go back in and actually add intensity back. So you can see that losing a little bit of the intensity there now. Going back in with blushing and just adding a little bit more. And blending again. You can do this a couple of times, as many times as you like, until you feel comfortable with that blend, that it's not a harsh line like that one there. Alright, so I'm just going to clean up that brush on a towel on my desk and put Blossom back on that brush, and I'm going to go right on the edge of the brown as well and blend that. And right down the middle there between the pink and the brown. Back in with Delicate. Blend a little bit more with Blossom. Just till we're happy with that blend. Just want to blend a little bit more down the middle of that pink and the brown. So I'm just going to do some circular motions there. I'm just going to go back in with that angled brush and just add a little tiny bit more of Season back to where we actually started with. Okay, so that's what we're left with. So I'm just going to take this tape off now. And that's what we've got. So what I'm going to do now is go in with my Makeup Forever brush, and I'm going to go on to Sweet. I just want to place that in the middle there, in between everything. Making sure we get right into those little cracks on your eyelids if you've got any. So just like that. Might take it just a little bit further. I'm not going to worry about too much about blending that into the brown, so I just want to sit over the top of it. Alright, so I've gone ahead and put some lashes on. These are old. Look at the box, it's bashed up. It's too cool for school. I'll pop the name in the description bar for you. I think they're Korean lashes, number 8. Marc Jacobs Blacker in the tight line. So those lashes are a little bit more sedate than what I actually normally use. A little bit of lash glue just there, which I'll have to fix up in a second. So I've used the House of Lashes lash glue, which does dry clear. But I've got a little bit of something happening just there. So I'm going to go in and lighten that up with my Dior Show Kohl. Right in the waterline there. So just lightening that up just a little. Now I have gone in also and popped some bronzer on. My Too Faced, that's the old packaging, but I love that. That's my Ride or Die Milk Chocolate Soleil. So I've done some bronzing, a little bit down my nose as well. And I'm just going to go in now with pink from the palette, and I just want to pop a little bit of that shimmer in the inner corner there. You know what, I'm just going to leave the bottom lash line like that for just something different. Okay, I did want to show you this ILIA. This is my very first product from them that is now stocked in Sephora in Australia. So it's a multi-stick, so you can use it as a cheek or lip product. And this one is in Tenderly, so it's a very light dusty pink. So what I'm going to do is just grab a little bit on my finger. I used this on the weekend. It's very, very subtle. So if you want to really ham it up, you've got to go in and place it on a little bit more than what you ordinarily would. See, that's very, very subtle. So I'm just going to try a stippling brush. Just go all over the product. That's a little bit better. So you can see that colour coming out now. Like I said, it's very, very subtle. I don't want to go in, look, I am going to go in. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to show that to you. That's a bit better. I was afraid of it taking off my foundation, but it didn't do that. Alright, I'm going to squeeze my brush and just go right over the centre of my nose. I've got a line there, or a wrinkle, right across the middle. I always like to try and disguise a little bit, and I like that blushed look on my nose rather than highlighter. Speaking of highlighters, so I went and bought the Becca, just close that up so it doesn't dry out, Becca Zero highlighter. So it's just clear, and I wore this on the weekend. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very dewy, but no colour, no pigment. So what I did, I didn't want to dirty the applicator, so I just put some on my hand there. Now this is quite expensive and there doesn't seem to be much in the tube, so I don't know if I'll buy it again, but it just gives you a really beautiful dewy glow on your cheekbone there. So no pigment at all. So I feel like I'm going to go through this quite quickly. I think it was $53 Australian in Sephora, and that's not much product, but it is beautiful. So I just wanted to show you it. I'm not suggesting you go out and buy it because you will be disappointed with, I think, with how much product's actually in the bottle. But that's a beautiful dewy wet look. I love it. Alright, so I'm just going to go back to the ILIA and show you what that looks like on my lips. It's a bit hard to actually get it on because it's such a big surface area. It's a very subtle pink. So, pretty good to travel with if you can get that multi-use out of it. I guess that's why it's called a multi-stick. Now I just want to show you also, I'm going to go over the top of that with my Too Faced. It's called Rich and Dazzling. It's a high shine sparkling lip gloss, and this one is in all the stars. As usual, their packaging is just divine. I love Too Faced marketing, it's just beautiful. So that's the tube there. Gorgeous. So it's a pinky gold. So you can see that shine straight away. I don't know if it's my cup of tea. It looks a little bit too shimmery for me, I think, for my mature skin. Possibly, but it is beautiful. I might tone that down just a little. Alright, so that's it for today's Valentine's look. Almost a little bit too late, as usual. I've just been jam-packed with business and other things, and just trying to get to this desk and actually film has just been a nightmare. But I hope you do like my look today. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.